Interestingly, on the program today, we'll be looking at fixtures that will be coming through. It will be amazing to see lots of fixtures on Saturday and a lot more coming through on Sunday. My name is Orji of the W.
Wait, in their last six with Tottenham just managed to just win
And just remind us that Arsenal don't
win
just
and
snap it
not
up.
won.
Arsenal don't concede.
The rest has been Arsenal win away. We don't know where. It is in London. So London is our home. And one thing about London will remain red.
I know that.
Okay, London will remain red. Is it not better? We get it. It's not better. See, I have a dream.
You have a dream, but look at him.
Hello, welcome back to this amazing program, Sports Preview, that is proudly sponsored by our friends at MaxBet. It feels good to be back. The English Premier League is coming back also this weekend. One exciting time to be alive with the World Cup taking shape. I've seen a lot of countries qualify. Some are opting for the playoffs. A heartbreaking time for the Super Eagles of Nigeria after that very disappointing penalty shootout. Confirmed that they will not be participating in back-to-back World Cups after they missed out in that one in Qatar, and now they will be in United States, Mexico, Canada. Interestingly, on the program today, we'll be looking at fixtures that will be coming through. It will be amazing to see lots of fixtures on Saturday and a lot more coming through on Sunday. My name is Orji of the W. I won't be doing this alone. I have very well flanked with gentleman and lady who will be aiding with this very superb analysis to talk about the games coming through for Saturday. So what you need to do for us is to sit tight, relax, and soak it all in. Don't forget that the program is probably sponsored by MaxBet, www.maxbet.ng, and they are our proud sponsors of this one. To introduce, starting by my right, that is the one and only Chiwendo. Chiwendo, it's good to have you. I think I would want a handshake. We saw how things went with the Super Eagles, but that's a talk for another day. I have with me also Buffy Joe. Buffy Joe, the original Buffy Joe, had an opinion about the Eagles. We'll talk about it also because he talked about how tactical awareness would have played a vital role with the Eagles qualification. And to complete the jigsaw and the puzzle is the man, eye and eye. C.I. Zorro! I'm so hyped up today. A couple of persons will know why. But let's get into the gist of the day. Saturday brings Burnley at the Tough Moor taking on Chelsea. We'll see FC Bournemouth the Vitality up against West Ham United. Brighton at the Amex Stadium will take on Brentford. And we'll see Fulham, who will play host to Sunderland. Liverpool at the Anfield will take on Nottingham Forest. And at the Millennium, it will be Wolverhampton Wanderers up against Crystal Palace. The last game for Saturday in the Premier League is Newcastle at the St. James's Park taking on Manchester City. A lot of persons are saying that City are back, that they are beginning to charge for the title. So talk about all of this today. We're starting up with that game between Burnley and Chelsea. Chelsea can still be tagged inconsistent, true or false?
To an extent, but I think they are beginning to get it right. Maresca, I mean, a lot of people will disagree with Maresca tactics, but for me, I feel that he has. This is a young squad. He has not yet solidified this team. It's a team that is working in progress, and I would say that they are not yet settled. But I will give it to Maresca. He's doing something with Chelsea. If only they will be patient enough to see the outcome of it.
Yeah, patience is one thing that is lacking in club owners of these days. We've seen it play out with Nottingham Forest. We've seen it at Wolves. We've seen a couple of places this season, and I don't think if anything goes wrong at the Stamford Bridge, that they will be relenting at all. Burnley could scarcely, handpick a worse opponent just after their fight with relegation, and it's Chelsea now. Do you think there's anything in the running for Burnley up against the London Blues in this one?
There's nothing Burnley can take away from this match, considering the fact that their record with Chelsea since 2008 to date, they've just managed to get just 2 wins in all the games they've played with Chelsea. Out of 19 games, they just managed to get 2 wins. That's saying that it's not a fiction. and they've not in their last 5 encounter, they've not been able to even get a win. Just one draw in their last 5.
Okay, one draw in the last 5, very poor. Let's look at head-to-head. Burnley have only lost more Premier League home games against Liverpool, 9, than they have against Chelsea. Drawing 1 and losing 8. Just one shy to be one of the sides that they lose more, and that's what Bonfrey is saying. The Blues have won on each of their last 6 Premier League visits to the top 4. Scoring 3+ goals in each of the last 5. Now, if you play an opponent and you get 3+ goals in each of the last 5, that shows you where the team is when they play against Burnley. But just like Chiwende said, this is a young Chelsea squad. I do not feel like this whole history applies when Chelsea plays these days, because I don't think there is that Chelsea Roman Abramovich emblem or stamp on this present day Chelsea. I feel like the present day Chelsea is not flying on the same wings as the Chelsea of Frank Lampard, John Terry. I feel like the Chelsea that is captained by the James is a different kind of Chelsea, and we cannot rely on what is on paper. What's your take when Chelsea goes away a tough one against Burnley?
So, Chiwande made mention of Enzo and having patience with Enzo, whatever you call him. Personally, I feel like Enzo has, been a gambler. I've never really been a fan of Enzo. It's just that I could comfortably say that Enzo has had.
Are you talking about for the season or for this game now?
No, for the season. I'm trying to give a rundown on what she said. Okay, so I feel Enzo hasn't really. Enzo has been this guy who has that luck, because we've seen the period before the international break, the first international break, where he constantly had every match with a red card. He showed the kind of quality he has, where most of his changes brought about confusion. Most of his changes, at some point, lost matches that were supposed to be won by him. I feel it shows a lot about a coach who still is in the learning stage, and then got to a club where grace in this case found him. That's the way I'm saying. Now, down to Chelsea as a team right now. Chelsea has the oldest player in Chelsea right now is equally a very young player, and then the captain of the current Chelsea team is equally young. Now, there's a lot of youthful exuberance with the current Chelsea team, where they have what I would call discipline issues, and then of course, their end does not really justify the means on some occasions. Now, but they've equally shown what would I use? They've equally shown grace. I don't know why I keep using grace, but then I feel Chelsea has equally shown what I would call tactical grace, because the 2 matches they had before this current international break was won by Chelsea, and that shows that the team will eventually come in with that strength and confidence to be able to match Burnley, because Burnley is equally not doing fantastic in the league, and having come from the international break, of which most of the Chelsea players succeeded on with their national teams, I feel they will come back with that particular agility and then crush Burnley at the same time.
Okay, I feel like the travels during international break does not favor players a lot. The travels, the change in tactics and information of play. Some players play forward for their clubs and are defenders at national team level. Some defenders are at the club and they play in different positions. We've seen all of this happen. Now, talking about Burnley specifically, Chelsea lost to Sunderland, who are newcomers also, 2-1 if you can remember. So I feel like it's a ticking time bomb for them also to understand that they need to actually put their house together when they go into a fixture like this one. But let's not dwell so much on Chelsea, because I have a lot to talk about. Liverpool takes on Nottingham Forest, and I feel like Arne Slot's camp is one important place to talk about now.
I think Arne Slot, basically, if you ask me what's wrong with Liverpool, I just think it's positioning. He has not been able to get his positioning right, position his players fully. Because if you look at Ferran, I was watching him in the international window
with Germany. Fantastic display.
He was so good up front, but he wasn't playing from the midfield. Remember, he was playing from the wing. And I think they've not been able to give you that opportunity, because actually when he was leaving Leverkusen, he wanted to play in the central midfield position. And I think that Slot was trying to pacify him by making him play there, but it's not working. I think he should be drafted a little bit to the wing. And then another thing that is also killing Liverpool is sentiment. I think the manager is a little bit too sentimental and too emotional because Mo Salah, yes, he's a fantastic player, but we are seeing that he has dropped in form. And I think he should be coming from the bench. Same with Gakpo. They should be coming from the bench. They are not giving their 100% in the team. They should learn from by the time you sit on the bench as a starter 1, 2, 3 times, you will sit up and want to do best.
But I think like with the African Cup of Nations coming for Mohamed Salah, I feel that's where the coach wants to use him. The best that he can, knowing fully well that he won't be available for CDG to call for him to return early. There's the December being away. If Egypt goes far, he might be away also for January. So I feel like, okay, let me get to use this player now that he's available. Then, talking about Vias also playing from the wing, we see him struggle to play from the middle, which we know that will require less strength and body balance to do. The Premier League is a very tough place. So I feel like we've seen he's a Fabregas kind of player. He's a Cole Palmer kind of player.
Gentle.
Yeah, they don't possess all of those strengths to play in Premier League. Now, if he plays in the wing, I feel like he's not going to succeed so much in Premier League. But then there is always room for surprises. I think what is wrong is that the league is a little too physical to what he can handle. Do you share that sentiment?
I don't think so because German league is more physical than the
Do you think? I beg to disagree. What's your
that
take
is
on
what I
that?
feel because if you look at German league, you see that it's more of African players.
It's not. The physical is not an African thing.
No, I'm saying because
the less.
No. I beg to disagree with you because in African football, we could see that the incoming of foreign coaches in African football lessen the physicality in African football. We now begin to see tactical play and technical play with African football because of the inflow of foreign coaches in. So I think African football is more dominated with physical football. So when they go into the German league, and you see the highest league that absorb African footballers are French league and of course German league.
But
and you will see that.
How would you now address the Italian league if you say the German league is very physical?
I'm not saying overall physical, but I'm saying it is physical. More physical than Premier League.
I don't agree with you.
More physical than Premier League.
It can't stand. What I'm trying to say is that when the league is physical, just like talk about the African football being physical, it's not fast. It's physical and not fast. What is fast and physical? That's what the Premier League gives you. There is never a time as a player you're going to stand and beat in the Premier League. It's going to be bam, bam, bam. It's going to be physical in the African football setting with Africans, but they are not so fast. So you can get the ball, get a physical attack, and it will take some time before the ball gets to you again to see the physicality of the Premier League comes with the pace of the league.
And
I feel like that pace is what makes the Premier League the most physical league in the world because it comes with that pace.
If it comes with that pace, why are they not doing well in the European football?
No,
it comes with a lot of pace and it comes with a lot of physicality and all that. I'm talking about this is the generation we're talking about. It's more about technical.
It doesn't just buy the idea of the Premier League being tough and very complicated.
It's not talking about the technical side. When you say technical side, yes, I would say that they are advanced technically, tactically. Premier League is more advanced, but you say physical, no.
I think if you're talking about tactically advancement, I should be giving it to Spanish La Liga. That's where you see tactical football.
Oh yes, I probably might agree with that. But then the tactical football, just like we were talking last week, I think it ends with a certain club or clubs. As far as I'm concerned.
But if you talk about the pace of the game, that's where players leave the big teams to go play for. Now, Xhaka, very fine player at Arsenal, had his time in Germany. Now he's back in the Premier League. He's that physical, he's that strong. But I tell you, no team in the top tier of the Premier League will give him a chance. He can't survive there. Because of the kind of game that happens. That's why Mikel in the B1 podcast was talking about how the moment he saw Kante, he knew his time was up. Because the physicality of the game comes with every single moment. Like in the German league, the best players play for the Bayern Munich of this world. Like you get to play this season and you move there. So that's why you have the Bayern Munich win the league every other time. Okay, we just talked about Sunderland beating Chelsea. And this is Burnley game, and we cannot sit here and say, okay, Burnley, Chelsea beat Burnley. That's the physicality. That's the
No,
pace.
yeah, I understand. You're talking about. I understand that the Premier League is a tough league where you cannot really say this is the big boys, this is the big boys. Even in still or still, you can still pick out the big boys from the small boys. So we're talking about you saying physical. You can say they are fast. Yes, I agree. But physical, no. German league is fast.
So you feel like bias.
Italian league.
Remember how we got here? You feel like bias
is physical.
You feel like bias is finding life easy in the Premier League.
I think he has not really understand his position. He has not been able to play in a position that suits his style of play. Because every player has a style. He's that kind of player that allow him to be free. Allow him to just boss around. But you can't come to the Premier League and allow him to be free. Because yes,
physicality.
It's not about no. It's because of the kind of game they play. They're not physical football. You can say fast, I agree. But it's not about being physical.
Okay. But I feel like Obama is on the stretcher now. He's in the hospital because of the physicality, and he will keep going there.
But he has always played in the Premier League. Has he ever played in any other league?
That's what I'm trying to say. If you are a bias, like if I'm a Premier League coach, I'm not signing a bias. If I'm signing him, I'm not signing him to be a winger. He's going to be a Cesc Fabregas in the center. He's going to be a Jorginho.
But he don't play that kind of football.
Exactly. That's why he's not
very fitting there. That's why he's saying
if he goes to the wing, he will be bullied in every single game. The kind of wingers that succeed in the Premier League are the Sadio Mane of this world, Semenyo, Mbuemo. Like these are wingers who are physical.
Where are they from?
Now, if Africa, yeah, but if we go away from the African ones also, we can talk about Eden Hazard. People who bleed and they are still playing. They close up the ball. We can talk about Mohamed Salah. We can talk about where are they? Where are the names of the wingers? So I feel like to be a winger in the Premier League, you can't be a bias. But anyway, that's like a talk for another day where we'll have like maybe a bias kind of edition and conversation. Liverpool going up against Nottingham Forest. I feel like Forest have found their rhythm now.
I mean, I don't know what Sean Dyche is trying to prove, but against Arsenal, I saw that the man is not just has found the rhythm. He has really found the problem of Nottingham Forest and is beginning to fix them one by one. And it's not going to be easy for Liverpool, considering the fact that Liverpool has not been in form. But going to the international break, coming back, they're still fresh. They're still. I think Arne Slot would have done a lot of training and check and balance where the problem is coming from. But against Sean Dyche, I think Liverpool will find it difficult.
Very difficult. I really agree. And for confidence sake, this is the game where Forest can start growing in confidence. You know, play against Arsenal, try your best against Liverpool, and then the other teams will now say, okay, this team is back. And this is the right time to play Liverpool. I don't know if anybody think otherwise. This is the perfect time to play Liverpool.
Liverpool sharing points now.
This is where it is, because the international break is not the right time to arrange your team, because they're just everywhere.
No, I'm talking about the coach. So the coach, he should sit down and begin to map out plan
what to do.
Yes.
Just like you talked about, maybe push Vargas to the wing and see what happens in that one. But let's tell you that Liverpool have conceded first within the opening 30 minutes in all their 5 league defeats this season. 4 of Liverpool's last 5 domestic home games produced exactly 3 goals, and just 2 of Forest's last 7 saw both teams score.
I mean, I want to particularly talk about Liverpool defense. Of course, everybody knows. They themselves, they know they have a problem with the defense. But I was looking at the international break, looking at Van Dijk, they were conceding as he was the defender. And then I looked at Konate. He was even captain the side in the international break. And I was watching, and I could see that he was still making the same error that he was making in Liverpool. That's something to be concerned about for Liverpool. Their defense is really not in good shape. And Van Dijk, I mean, they should start getting replaced.
Maybe a great in January
because
he never can
start getting
because he has tried, as far as I'm concerned, and then that form is no longer there.
Consistency.
I feel like the same thing happening to him. I don't know if to level it fatigue, but whatever it is that's happening to him is actually happening to Mo Salah. almost at the same time. And these guys has been season in, season out for the past say 3-4 seasons.
And they're not getting any younger. We must also point that out.
Yeah.
And the league is parading young legs and it's getting pacier and pacier by the day. Look at Alex Tavel. These are players that when you watch them at a very tender age, you begin to wonder, is this because imagine you're going to mark that kind of player. And you're 39, or say you're 38, or you're 35. It's never going to be easy. And I feel like teams need to understand that and make those moves. So I feel like Liverpool needs to get busy for that defense in January transfer window. Head to head, Forest could go 3 league games unbeaten against Liverpool for the first time since November 1993. It's not been an easy fixture for Liverpool against Forest recently, and I feel like it's another time to cement.
The last meeting was ended in a 1-1 draw. That's to tell you that Forest, and after that, before there was a win, a Forest win at Anfield for that matter. They got a win at Anfield. So this can may cement it with the kind of form Liverpool is presently. I think Forest has a better chance to say, oh, let's do this and get something out of this.
Yeah, very well. Alisson could return for Liverpool on Saturday, which is a very positive news. While Chris Wood might get back, and I think Chris Wood will really add to that Forest attack.
No kind of defense.
No disrespect to Awoni. I feel.
I think he's done and dusted.
Yes, he
should just go to Japan. Belgium to Turkey. Oh no, I think Turkey is even more difficult now.
Turkey is
for a kind of
every Nigerian succeeds in Turkey.
No.
Onachu was a terrible player in the Premier League. Now top scorer in
no, but Onachu did well in the Belgian league.
No, I'm talking about.
No, but I'm talking about Awoni is struggling. Turkish league is not bringing.
I've not seen Nigeria strong.
No. Turkish league is not bringing in quality players. So it's their advances, just like Awoni will even struggle in the Saudi Arabian league because they are bringing quality players. So you should go to the Belgium. Let him go to the Belgium.
You might be going back to the PFL. Doesn't go to the Turkish league. Let me tell you, Awoni, he's battling size the same way Boniface is battling size. In fact,
because he's not getting big time.
It's well. We need to create an episode for those two to talk about them. Let's sharply talk about City, who will be away from home at the St. James's Park against Newcastle. I feel like this is the game with Spurs and Arsenal looking like a very cagey encounter to look out for. City might start thinking about getting very close to top in the league just before January. They do not have a player who might be going for the AFCON. Arsenal also are in that kind of situation. When you look at this situation, which I feel is why Osimhen did not actually get a call. I feel like a lot of these teams were considering who will be available December, January, and this is like the toughest time in the Premier League. And now we are heading into it. I feel like City are title challengers and one of the favourites this season.
Of course, I mean this season a lot of persons will not give it to Arsenal, but I think for a start, Mikel Arteta is showing that he wants to get something. He's serious about it. He's no longer excuse upon excuse, but this time around he picks out players, try to position them well. But you see a particular man called Pep. He just know how to handle some of this pressure. And like I said, I always say Pep Guardiola's position as a manager is the most safest job because he could be losing. He didn't win anything last season, and he was still the coach. They gave him contracts. They still supported him. He bought players, so he's not under any kind of pressure. But now the pressure is on him. Now is for him to prove himself because his record must continually be a good record. So the pressure is on him, and so since managers and the club is not pressuring him, it's now left for him to now do what is right, and his own pressure is he must win trophies. And I think Manchester City is beginning to get that rhythm now. With the likes of players, they have quality players, especially the midfield. I don't know what Pep Guardiola, I don't know how he does it, but he knows how to command his midfield. And his midfield, I mean, we're talking about Rodri. I was like, after Rodri left, they discovered, but can you look at the lines, the midfielders? Can you look at the midfielders in Manchester City? And I mean, these are they are quality players, and you cannot take it away from them. So I think Manchester City they are title contender. If Arsenal do not maintain at least six-point gap consistently, Manchester City will take them.
Yeah, very well. We must also talk about Newcastle in this fixture. Their winning streak. Newcastle, they are positioning themselves to be a very strong side. And also, you must mention Jeremy Doku for Man City so far.
I'm not really a fan of Doku because he is in good form. But I just believe I only tag him beautiful nonsense. You are a very skillful player, but when it's time for you to make that input, I don't know, you don't give that final touch, but he's trying to get it right this season. I mean, I celebrate him for that. Against Liverpool, I saw the man was everywhere, and you could see that yes, he's beginning to get it. That maybe they are beginning to tell him how to handle how to be skillful, and also how to give the final touch and get your goal. And I think, but personally, I'm not getting it right this season.
Yeah, getting it right, and I think I was on commentary duties in that game, and I could say it loud and clear that before the 64th minute of the game, he has already stamped himself as a player of the match, and that is how to be a big guy. Talking about head-to-head, Newcastle United have just won out of their last 35 Premier League meetings with City, drawing 6 and losing 28. So Eddie Howe is winless in 18 Premier League meetings with Man City, drawing 2 and losing 16. The most a manager has faced an opponent in the competition without ever winning. So it's not a game that he wins. We've agreed that City have found something working for them. In fact, we must mention Erling Haaland. We saw him single-handedly qualify Norway
internationally, club side.
So I didn't like. I was bragging to someone that okay, Osimhen could play all his career without going to the World Cup. That's what happens to you when you don't play for a good team. I said that can happen too. I mentioned Ryan Giggs, who for Wales he was that good, but he couldn't go to the World Cup with Wales. I talked about a couple of good players that I know who. Okay, we can even talk about a player like Quarantelia. When you're not in that kind of country, in footballing nation today, you might miss out on the Mundial. But what Haaland just did is to tell us, shut up. Because he is that 1-3 that is making the forest. What is football? Get the goals.
I mean, when they gave him the captain's armband for Norway, I was wondering,
get the goals.
What was the coach trying to do? What he single-handedly has shouldered Norway. You could see that zeal Osimhen has is the same thing Alan has, but it's quite unfortunate for Osimhen. He's playing with us.
Somebody help me with the napkin.
He's playing with some
the bragging rights leading the Vikings to be the first. Okay, leading the Vikings at this point to the World Cup, and not just leading them to the World Cup, but winning the World Cup eventually for the first time in history. That has been his bragging ever since their qualification. I must say, just like you made mention, he is actually the star man in that team. He has shown both in the club side and of course in the national team that there is something. Removing from that match, it becomes a Nigerian team where Osimhen is removed from a match and then it becomes totally flawed. Palasa. I think at this particular point, Haaland has marked his name in the sands of time, and I think moving forward, the next season, the next season, with this kind of consistency, would actually earn him a Ballon d'Or or even more.
I think he will get it.
Yeah.
There is no way. He won his World Cup now.
He won before.
No, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't.
He got to the second position and
I think he's World Cup.
No, he hasn't.
No,
it was Modric in the last 4 years. Has been Modric.
But he has won FIFA Footballer of the Year.
That's what I mean. He won FIFA Player of the Year.
But not about Ballon d'Or.
FIFA Player of the Year is bigger than the Ballon d'Or. The Ballon d'Or is the French Football Association award.
I don't agree with you. It is not recognized. Ballon d'Or is not recognized. It's not.
Let's leave about winning the Ballon d'Or.
Let's come back to where I want us to talk about. City, wait, before you go in, City is having the best time of their life this season. with Haaland.
Yeah.
And I talked about giving you a 20 plus goals for you to be able to win the league.
And
And
he's doing
Arsenal
that.
is lacking a player to give them 20 plus goals, and it's looking like it's going to be a Manchester City season. Even when they are still behind Arsenal at the moment, do you think that Arsenal
That's a very, very tough question to ask.
because we must look at the statistics now. Newcastle have conceded 5 of their last 6 home league goals this season. After halftime, Newcastle have failed to score in just one of their last 18 Premier League home games. City have scored in each of their last 33 Premier League games against Newcastle. And Man City have led a pre-round joint league high of 7 games at halftime this season. That is at halftime. India are not very good. Now, do you think
Yes.
let's talk about City. Are City favourites to win the league this
See,
season?
man, when it comes to the league now, bringing City into it, fine, perfect. They have Haaland. Haaland is another one.
Arsenal have got
See.
your cards.
Let's leave it up. Guys, you can't put the two in the same scale.
You have Saka now.
No, see, putting Haaland and Eucharist in the same scale is like bringing
A bag of
a
rice.
bag of rice to a cup of garri. It doesn't
Wow.
weigh. It doesn't weigh everything.
Wow.
You understand? It
Wow.
doesn't weigh because
What, how did Gary come into this context?
Haaland is as in
An exceptional
a different. It's just like the time of Messi and C. Ronaldo. You don't compare any player with them at that moment. Presently, Haaland is that.
So
Is in
which
that
means with Haaland.
with Haaland, but one thing you should understand that in the Premier League, one player don't make forest in the Premier League. You have to play as a team to get it.
But Salah won.
Haaland,
Salah won
wait,
the league.
even while playing Arsenal, Haaland get it.
They had the players
They
that
had
were
players.
Haaland got the goal while playing Arsenal. The first leg of the City Arsenal game. Haaland got the goal, but you saw what happened eventually. It ended in a draw. He wasn't able to see. There's something about what you should know about Premier League. Premier League is a different ball game. When you get to the Premier League, a good striker can be in the Premier League without scoring a goal.
You just provoked one.
You understand? Without scoring a goal, because the kind of marking you get,
So-
the kind of pace you get when the defenders come to you.
But City are favourites.
Favorite or no favorite, what you should understand is the Premier League is still open for anybody. But what you should know that this season for Newcastle, Newcastle this
So it's
season.
open for Chelsea
See,
too.
Newcastle this season playing at home, they've been wonderful. Playing at home. So I don't think City can come to their ground this time and get something out of it without getting
That
into
is
City.
because of Arsenal.
Not because of Arsenal. don't take Arsenal. See, you are just bringing Arsenal. See, one thing I know about Arsenal this season, Arteta and his men, they are trying to put something on the table for Arsenal.
So it's not going to be a second position something.
Like
You
you.
understand? They're trying to bring something on the
Well,
table. But
I remember they
for the
lost
first-
match so far.
for the first time in the history of Arsenal,
Mm.
this is the first season we are enjoying the game called football with
I
Arsenal.
don't understand. You don't enjoy
See, let's enjoy last season. Last season we enjoyed last season, but check
This one is
check the defensive line.
This season is better.
Check the Arsenal have conceded just 2 goals. I'm sorry, 3 goals this season.
Hey, Uncle.
It's not like, but City, how many has City? Just like Haaland is in his 14 goals trailer this season for in the Premier League. So you understand? So I think him scoring goals and then when he comes to Arsenal,
You said it all. The three can make a forest in the
Yes.
Premier League. So you feel like Arsenal have got a more balanced team
balanced
as
team.
against a City side that is dependent on how.
I don't think a City side is dependent on Haaland. I don't
Wait,
think so.
if Haaland is not in the
correctly.
see, if Haaland is not, check Arsenal game when they were playing against Arsenal. Haaland was the only person that was trying to move forward.
Well,
Exactly, because that's the way Pep actually built that team.
and that's
Since
why
Haaland joined,
they're playing those long
You understand?
crosses these days.
everybody
But the moment,
focuses on
the
Haaland.
moment Haaland is not there, they still do.
How many times is he
How
not
many
there?
times have you not been there?
We'll find out because there's like I mentioned the other time, we have a lot more games to play before we head to the World Cup. So a lot of things can change.
Injuries can come in.
change. A lot can change. But let's talk about Arsenal just lastly before we close on the program. Arsenal goes head to head in London derby against Spurs. Thomas Frank's Spurs started like Oh, we're back here. I think they are back to where we all know it's supposed to be. They are below average. In fact, the average. Are you thinking, looking at the last fixtures between these two, looking at the last three, Arsenal won 1-0, 2-1, and Tottenham won the last one, if you can remember, in a club friendly, 1-0 before the season started. But in the last Premier League, it was Arsenal 2-1. I feel like it's going to be a walk in the park for Arsenal in this one against Spurs.
I think so because the last.
You think?
I think so. The last season, the last encounter.
This question
Spurs has just managed to
I
get
intentionally set you up with this
Wait,
question.
wait.
We said a walk in the park, not like winning. A
Yeah.
walk in the park.
Presently now, Arsenal, they even in their in the what is it called? Our injury lineup, they are back. These players.
We heard about Gabriel.
No.
International break.
Yeah, Gabriel is good, but
You feel like there's Mosquera.
there's someone there to replace him. And in their last six,
Not consistent.
wait, in their last six with Tottenham are just managed to just win.
And just remind us that Arsenal don't
Win
just
one
just
and
snap
not
it up.
one.
Arsenal don't concede.
The rest has been Arsenal win away. We don't know where. It is in London.
And you know
So London is our home.
I
And
know-
one thing about London will remain red.
I know that
Okay, London will remain red.
Arsenal don't concede.
Don't let the Stamford Bridge hear you.
London will
See,
remain red.
even presently now, they know that London is red. It's just like when you go to Manchester.
The last time
Manchester has become
was in 2003. 2003 that London was red last.
no, but presently now, season
With just 9 matches.
no, not with
London
9
is red.
matches. I'm telling you that season to seasons, who is
I think
Who is second? And who is getting
I feel like the last 3 games of the Premier League, the episode will be interesting here on Sports.
yeah.
The last 3 games.
It
I
will
will
be the red.
remind
You know, it will be the red.
Oh man, we need to bring down clips.
London
We
will
need to bring
remain
down clips
and blue.
of London being red
Yeah.
in the last 3 games of the season. I'm
will be
talking
red.
week. I'm talking week.
We'll get London will be red in the as in 5 matches to go.
Okay. It's all good.
I bet it to you guys.
So Arsenal win the league.
5 matches to
5
go.
games to
As-
spare.
as my-
Well, all the same, let's get into
What is a big tax for Arsenal?
okay, let's get into prediction corner where we'll talk about what we feel like games fall right from. Welcome to the Max Bet prediction corner. What we'll do here is to talk about what we feel like will be the outcome of this game. Don't forget that program is probably sponsored by our friends at Max Bet. Let's get into it. Very well. We'll see Tottenham against Chelsea. Let's start with you.
I think it's Chelsea.
Just win. Just win.
I'm giving it to Chelsea.
Oh, Chelsea safe on the show, but we can't tell until after the game. Liverpool up against Nottingham Forest.
I see a tricky one there. It will
Go,
go.
go.
I'll give it to Nottingham Forest.
To Forest.
There must be a good one.
Go, go. I feel like Sean Dyche wants to show his capacity. Win or drop, in my opinion. Newcastle up against City.
I'll give it to Manchester City.
Say a good goal.
It's going to be a good game because Liverpool will definitely
No,
try.
we're talking about Newcastle. Okay, you've not done your Liverpool prediction.
No.
Okay, Liverpool Forest. Let's start with that. For you.
I think it's a good game.
Okay, we're talking Newcastle City now.
Newcastle City is going to still be a good game.
Okay, I feel like Haaland will score and City win. Haaland to score and City win. Arsenal up against Spurs.
See Arsenal straight away.
Arsenal up against Spurs. Last chance. Arsenal up against Spurs.
Arsenal straight away. See, don't take anything away from that game. Arsenal is getting the win.
What's your take?
That game is going to be Arsenal win.
Arsenal win.
I think it's going to be a draw.
Okay. My prediction is no go. I feel like Arsenal is not considered against Spurs very well. I can bet anything on it. They are not shipping any goal in that encounter. And I feel like Arsenal is honestly going to win. The games where Arsenal will struggle are still ahead. Maybe not
Arsenal will not struggle with the big fours, but you see when you get to all this.
Remember, you said 5 games to spend.
No, but there's something see, we may not struggle with these big teams, but when it gets to
This smaller
this
team,
smaller
like
team,
Sunderland.
you understand?
Like,
No, see, Sunderland Arsenal game. Let me bring that game there. Yeah, I know bring back that game. But Sunderland Arsenal game, I saw that game. When Sunderland got the goal first, I knew Arsenal was in for a ride in that game. Something away from Chelsea. with all the young stars playing it doesn't, you know the kind of team Chelsea parades.
But no, the Chelsea team were having defense issues, so you will not.
And I still
And in this same Arsenal had a very perfect defense
Comfortable defense.
going into the
The
game.
goal that
disagree with you
cemented
on
the
this one.
2-2 draw. I never knew what our keeper was planning there. At that moment.
well, let's
So let's not take it away from
let's wrap it all off to say, do we agree that Arsenal need to prioritize the league over every other competition?
I don't think so.
I feel like
I don't think
if they go the way they're going, trying to win everything, it's going to backfire.
I think
No.
they should prioritize Champions League because they've not won it before. That should be what they should be looking at. They've won the Premier League. They've won it. Let them go for the
Is it not
Champions
better?
League.
Is it not better? We get a point. It's not better. See, I have a dream.
You have a dream, Martin Luther King.
Well, all this is the point where we'll be wrapping it all off on the program. It's been an amazing time. I know you had fun too. Bonfrey is very, very optimistic with what his Arsenal team can do. I just hope, because we'll be here to talk about it just until the very end of it. Thank you very much, Chiwani, for being a part of this one. And Bonfrey, thank you for bringing the spice. Also, to
Yes,
this year,
yes.
it's been an amazing time. We urge you to join us again because we're coming with a lot more episodes. We'll do this for you every other week. And so make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And so you can see, turn on the notification button so you can see videos like this. Don't forget that Sports Preview is probably sponsored by our friends at MaxBet. And so do well to check it out, www.maxbet.ng. My name is Oji Ofedo. Say you adios.